Okay, great. Thanks for
Yes.
confirming. Okay, so the course name is DevOps with Google Cloud Platform. You can call or Google Cloud Platform with the DevOps or whatever you can call it as, guys. We are going to learn the DevOps practices. We are going to implement the DevOps practices in the Google Cloud Platform. So for this today's session, we will plan it like this. So today's session agenda, I wanted to make it clear out so that if anyone have any questions, we will take it at the end. Okay. So for today's session, we are going to discuss. First thing I wanted to tell you what is DevOps. Okay, what is mean by DevOps, right? Why it is very important for the software companies. So let us try to focus on what is DevOps first, and after that we will see what is Google Cloud Platform. Okay, some people know about the Google Cloud Platform, some people does not know about it. We will also see what is Google Cloud Platform, and after that I will talk about the course curriculum. So what are the things that we are going to cover? Curriculum. So what are the topics that we are going to cover? What are the concepts that we are going to cover? What are the DevOps tools that we are going to cover? Everything we will discuss in the course curriculum. And after that, I will talk about course details. Okay, course details in terms of like what is our timings daily, how many hours we are going to spend it, and everything, how many months it is going to taking. So all of those details we will take it. And our final topic that we are going to discuss is that the questions and answer session. That is nothing but a Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, that we will take it at a Q&A session. Okay, that is our something, yeah, Q&A session. Okay, so we will be having Q&A at the end of our session. Okay, so this is what is the agenda of today's session, guys. We will start with the one by one. We will start with the DevOps, then we will go to the Google Cloud Platform, then we will go to the course curriculum. Guys, is my voice is breaking? Is it clear?
Now it's clear.
Hello.
Now it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me refresh my internet. 1 minute, guys. Let me refresh my internet once. Give me 1 minute. Let me refresh everything so that it will be fine. Can you guys confirm now? Is it clear or not?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
great. Okay, so now let us start with what is DevOps. Okay, so DevOps, why the DevOps is required? So mute yourself, guys. If you wanted to talk, you guys can mute yourself. We will be having a Q&A session at the end. So if you guys have any questions related to your career or related to the course or the course curriculum, let us take it at the end. Okay, so first topic that we are going to start with is what is DevOps? Okay, so let us try to understand why the DevOps is required. If you go 10 years before or 15 years before, we do not have a DevOps engineers available. But why all of a sudden the DevOps engineers are very, very much important for the IT companies or the software projects? Let us try to understand the DevOps engineering. Okay, so DevOps engineering is a set of practices, I would say. Okay, so for example, what in the software world actually happens that. So assume that if any project or anything wanted to work out in the IT, so there will be a developer. Okay, assume that there will be a developer. Sir, what the developer will do? Can you guys tell me what the developer will do?
Write code, write
Okay, let
coding
me.
for support.
Correct. So usually in any project, if I take any project, if the project has to successfully complete, so there has to be a proper requirement. So if I wanted to start a project, I will be getting a requirement from the client. So if I wanted to fulfill the requirement, I need two things. I need two things. One is manpower. Okay, that is manpower. That means the developers. What we call it as the developers in terms generally. And if I wanted to fulfill my requirement, can you guys guess it? What is the second thing? Anyone? Can you guys? If I wanted to start my project, I'll be starting as per my project requirement. I'll be starting the project. So if I wanted to fulfill that requirement as per the clients, if I wanted to fulfill it, I need the very first thing is that the manpower. What is our second thing, sir? Infra power. Perfect. Infra power. So if I have manpower, when I say manpower, it could be anyone. We usually call it as a developers. It could be a developer or a data engineer or a DevOps engineer or an analyst or a tester, anyone. Nothing but a developer or analyst or I would say tester or the any engineer, data engineer. When I say data engineer or Power BI engineer or whatever it is, or DevOps engineer. So all of these human beings are very much important for the project requirement because so they can prepare some kind of a code. Okay, usually I'll remove this one. So what they do, they will try to prepare some kind of a code. So if this code has to run, we need the infrastructure power. Infra power. When I say what is mean by infrastructure, sir, it could be a hardware details, hardware like CPU or RAM or any other details such as the storage, okay, or software. So you need all of these details so that whatever the code that you are writing here, that code is going to be running on this particular infrastructure. Okay, so if I have a one requirement from my client, I need two aspects. One is manpower and infrastructure power. So now look at it here. So why the DevOps came into the picture? Let us try to understand it now. So we have the developers. What they try to do is that they try to create the code. Okay, they create the code or they modify the code. Okay, they modify the code. So developers, as per the project requirement, they are going to create the code, or as per the project requirement, the already existing code they are going to. Okay, similarly, on the other hand, we have a one more team which are working behind the scene, so that whatever the code that you have created here, they are going to work on the managing the code. Okay, nothing but a deploying your code. Okay, deployment of your code. Okay, managing, usually I would say managing your code. Okay, managing your code. So when I say managing your code, he will maintain your code, and according to your code, whatever the requisites the requirements are there, he is going to be installing those requirements, and whatever the upgrades or patches or anything required, and after that, that code we will be going to work on some kind of a deploy on top of some kind of a infrastructure. So that is also, there is a one more team working behind the scene. We call them that team as an infra team. Okay, infrastructure team. So there are two teams are working behind the scene. One is developer team. Okay, one is developer team. What they're trying to do is that they try to create the code or modify the code. On the other hand, you have a infrastructure team who are managing your code and who are deploying your code on top of the infrastructure, and they handle the entire infrastructure, they create the infrastructure, they manage the infrastructure, they version the infrastructure, and they do all the things related to the infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is created as per the requirement, they are going to deploy your code on top of this particular, they are going to deploy your code on top of this infrastructure, whatever the infrastructure that they have created. So instead of managing, I would say managing infrastructure. Managing infra. If I mention it so that you will be able to get it. So they manage the entire infrastructure, and now whatever the code that you have created, they are going to deploy that code on top of this infrastructure. So this is how the companies are going to work on earlier. So this is how the companies are going to work on earlier, and that is where you do not have any issues that they were facing earlier. So there was the development team is there is the infrastructure team is there. They are working together, and someone is creating the code, someone is working on the infrastructure to deploy the code. So this is how they work. But the problem is that earlier we were not having a very high set of requirements, and now the requirement in the software companies is accelerated, and they wanted to accelerate the software development process, and they wanted to even increase the collaboration, enhance the collaboration also. And not only that, they wanted to improve the efficiency more. Okay, so if they wanted to, for example, now earlier what happens is that, so when you have a proper requirement, for example, I have a requirement here, to fulfill this requirement, they were taking a lot of time, I would say. Okay, they were taking a lot of time for the development team to create the infrastructure. And once development team is creating, they are working individually. And infrastructure team is going to be creating the infrastructure and they are working individually. The collaboration was missed. The communication between these two teams are getting missed. So that is the reason they are working independently. So the process of development and operations are not working properly. Okay, and so when we are having maybe 10 years before, the process of software development was not this much accelerated at this point of time. Now we want nowadays whatever the software that we wanted to create, it is so much accelerated. And if I wanted to create or if I wanted to provide a response to the actual requirement, we need to create a software at very faster manner. When I say the delivery has to be done very faster. So if I wanted to increase the delivery, so we need to increase the collaboration between the development team and infrastructure team. So that is where the DevOps came into the picture. And what they say is that the DevOps is aims to improve the collaboration. The main important thing about the DevOps is that it is going to be improving the collaboration between the development team and infrastructure team, and they increase the communication. When I say collaboration, they're going to increase the communication. When that communication is increased, so software development process gets accelerated. So we can increase the what I can say, we can increase the delivery faster. So whenever there is a requirement, we can easily deploy the code as soon as the code is ready. So such a kind of a process, if we wanted to have, we need the DevOps engineer. So that's where the DevOps engineer came here, and he creates a bridge between the development team and infrastructure team. They create a bridge between the infrastructure team and development team, so that there is a proper communication between them. Okay, so what is DevOps, sir? If you ask me, it is a set of practices that aims to improve the collaboration as well as communication, so that the software development team and the operation team are going to be working as a single entity, so that the collaboration is increased, so that the software development process gets accelerated, so that we have increased the collaboration, we have increased the software development process, and so that whenever there is a requirement, the delivery of that particular code is going to be much faster, and the deployment of that particular thing is also much faster. Okay, that leads to the continuous integration, continuous delivery, so that the teams can release the software more frequently and reliably, so that the software is stable and it is going to be working in a reliable manner. So this is how the DevOps team came into the picture. It is very simple. It is a bridge between the developer teams as well as operations team, I would say. It is a set of practices to aims to improve the communication or the collaboration between the development team and infrastructure team, so that they are going to work as a single entity. So that which increases the software development acceleration, enhances the collaboration, so that we can provide the software quality enough and efficient. So that is the main intention of the DevOps team, sir. So I have to show you here as well. So let me gonna show. Look at here, what is DevOps? So we have a developers who create and modify the software. We have an operations team who manage and maintain the software infrastructure, and DevOps came into the picture to increase the collaboration between them. So DevOps is a set of practices that brings together the software development team as well as operations team to improve the overall process of creating, deploying, and maintaining the software applications faster and with an improved efficiency. So this is what is DevOps, sir. Okay, so this is what is DevOps. That is fine, sir. DevOps is nothing but this one. So in a software development process, we have a plenty of things. Sir, what is in a software development? If you might have worked on a software or if you might have worked in IT, so if I wanted to create an end-to-end application, so from the scratch, if I wanted to create a new application, there are plenty of things we need to properly follow. So whenever there is a requirement from the company, we need to properly follow what we wanted to do. This is what we call as a software life cycle. Okay, in a software life cycle, the very first thing is that according to the requirement of the company, we need to plan what we wanted to do. We need to plan the infrastructure. We need to plan the developers. We need to plan two things. One is manpower as well as infrastructure. Then the developers is going to create the code as per the requirement. The code has to be built and the code has to be tested properly. Don't think that what is built or what, how to create the code, how to test the code. Don't think about that. In our upcoming sessions, we are going to see everything in very detail, and I try to understand the life cycle of a software development process. In a software development process, a software development process actually starts with a requirement. Any project in the company starts with a requirement. As per your requirement, you are going to plan the manpower as well as infra power. As per the requirement, the developers are going to create the code. The code has to be built properly and it has to be tested so that it is as per the requirement or not. That whatever the tested code will be there, it is released to the deploy. Okay, so whatever the operations team has created the infrastructure, right, on top of that infrastructure, the code is going to be deployed. What is release? A release is nothing but we have verified the code and it is ready for the deployment. So that is why you say release. And whenever you release a code, it is going to be deployed on top of the infrastructure created by the operations team. Then some companies try to operate it, some companies try to monitor it. So what we are trying to do, what is meant by operate? So operate is nothing but we are having a infrastructure and code, and that is working inside the application. That is working as an application on top of some infrastructure. We need to operate. We need to take care of the operations of that entire infrastructure, and we need to properly manage that and maintain the infrastructure. That is what I mean to say operate. Maintenance and upgrades, patches, and everything comes under the operation. Okay, once if everything goes well, we wanted to see it is going well all the time, because if something goes wrong, we would like to know, because if something goes wrong, the client is going to be again calling you and saying that this is not working out. You have developed this thing, but this is not working out. So if you wanted to check all the time, you are going to create a monitoring system. What the monitoring system will do is that will ensure is your application running your on top of your infrastructure is healthy or not, is it working in a healthy manner or not. So that is what is your monitoring system is going to be checking. So you are going to create some kind of a dashboard, such as monitoring dashboard you call it as, and you also plan it as logging, so that you can able to all the time you can able to check it. So something that if everything goes well, then there is no problem. If there is any problem, you need to again plan to fix the problem. You need to again plan to fix the problem. When you plan it, so you again re-modify your code. So that again, this is what the cycle again. So that's the reason this is a cycle. Okay, you guys can see it, right? So you are, while you are monitoring, if you see a problem, sir, I am facing some problem here, you again plan to fix that problem. So if you are planning, that means somewhere in the code something got missed, or you have written a wrong query, you have written a wrong code. So that code has to be fixed. Again, the developer going to remodify the code, and again he's building it, again testing it, again releasing for the deployment, again operating it, again monitoring it. If it is again still failing, you need to again plan it, code it, and everything. So this is what we call as a software development life cycle. In a software development life cycle, so these are all phases come into the picture as per your company's requirement. Some companies follow few more additional steps are also there. In some companies, there are few steps will not be there out of these things. But when I say overall and on average, every company will follow this kind of a software development process. In that one, you will be having a plan, code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, and monitor. So all of these things. Okay, but what the DevOps will do for this software development process? What the DevOps will do is that it makes this entire development process continuous. It makes this entire software development process continuous, so that Not even a single time we are going to waste the time. As soon as the requirement came in, the code is created, and the code will be built and tested, released, deployed, operated, monitored. Everything is going to be running in a continuous manner. So that is what the DevOps will do. So it accelerated the software development process. When I say it earlier, this team was working like this. So earlier, how they were working is that this team is working as a separate, and this team is working as a separate, and they have to inform them saying that we have done the development and you guys have focused on the dev. So earlier they were working in a different entities. Now in a DevOps, what they have done is that DevOps already created a bridge between them. So what they try to do is that they are going to work as a single entity. So by implementing the DevOps practices, organizations can enhance their development and operational efficiency so that they can deliver the high quality software faster, and respond more effectively to the user feedback and market demands. Okay, so this is what is the DevOps will do. Okay, when I say high quality software is that, so whatever the code that we are delivering it, right? So the developer has created some code. The developer has created some code, but he wanted to know that whatever he has created is correct. So that is the reason he will be deploying it faster. So because he's releasing the code and it will be deployed faster. Again, he can check, he can monitor the code. He can check whether the whatever the code is running properly as per the requirement or not. He can check it. So that if it is not working, again he rework on the code. So that is how he can deliver a high quality software faster. And one more thing is that whenever there is a new demand or new feedback or market demand came into the picture also, we can easily work on the deployment because this is a continuous manner. So if I prepare the code, automatically everything is going to be working behind the scene. Okay, this, if you think that this is a repo, the developer is working and pushing the code to the repo, that's it. He need not to do anything. Everything, building, testing, releasing, deploying, operate, monitor, everything is going to be working automatically behind the scene. So this is what is a culture of a continuous integration and continuous delivery, which allows teams to release the software more frequently and reliably. So this is what is called as a DevOps, sir. Earlier, when I wanted to deploy the code, I need to wait for some time. When I need to create the code, I'm going to push the code. I do not know when the operations team is going to create the infrastructure. But now, when you are when the project requirement came, both teams are working behind the same time. So one is works on the code, one is works on the one DevOps engineer works on the infrastructure. So once the code and infrastructure is ready, it will be deployed. The code is deployed on this one automatically. Now everything is working behind the scene continuously. So this is what we call as a DevOps set of practices. So this comes from the DevOps practices only. Okay, by implementing the DevOps practices, organizations can enhance their development and operational efficiency and deliver the high quality software faster and respond more effectively to your user feedback and market trends. So this is how the advantage that you're gonna get with the help of the DevOps. So it accelerates the software development process, enhances the collaboration, improves the efficiency, ensure the reliability and stability, and we can also respond more effectively to your user feedback and market trends. So this is what you are going to get with help of the DevOps guys. Okay, so let me gonna what is the role of a DevOps engineer? Sir, I wanted to become a DevOps engineer. So if I become a DevOps engineer, what is the set of things I'm going to work on every day? Okay, so what I may work on every day. So you are going to be a collaboration and communication between the DevOps and operations team. You need to focus on that. You need to work on the infrastructure management. You need to create the infrastructure, manage the infrastructure, version the infrastructure. So you as a DevOps engineer, if you become a DevOps engineer, you need to learn the infrastructure management details. You need to worry about how to create the infrastructure, how to maintain the infrastructure, how to manage the infrastructure, and how to version the infrastructure. So you need to know as a DevOps engineer, if you wanted to become, you need to know this thing. You need to work on this thing practically every day. And if a data engineer, if you wanted to become a DevOps engineer, you are going to create the CI/CD pipelines, which are nothing but a continuous integration and deployment pipelines, which are making sure that everything is working in a continuous manner. So you should be having a knowledge to create the CI/CD also. Okay, you should be having a knowledge on creating a CI/CD pipelines using the multiple DevOps tools. You need to work on the configuration management. So if you have a set of machines, and if you wanted to change the configuration in those machines, you need to have a knowledge on working with a tool which will be helpful for you to do the configuration management in those systems. Okay, so that is also comes under in the DevOps engineer only. So you should be having a knowledge on the configuration management also. You should know how to manage the configuration from a single tool to change the configuration in a multiple machines. And you should also work on the monitoring and performance optimization. If some CI/CD pipeline is failing, you need to monitor it properly, so that you need to fix it as soon as possible. And if pipeline is taking a lot of time, you need to work on the performance optimization as well, because sometimes the virtual machines are there, Kubernetes engines are there, and you are using a virtual machines and it is taking a lot of time, and you don't want it to go with that. You wanted to provide a solution to the Kubernetes engine. In that scenarios, you need to try to come up with a solution which works in an optimized fashion. So that is also there. Okay, so that also comes under the DevOps topic. And you should be working on the deployments. Okay, sometimes you may have to you may have to manually deploy things, and you should know how to deploy the things on top of the multiple systems, such as you have a virtual machines, you have a Kubernetes, how to deploy the things, and as per the configuration, as per the networking, so how to deploy the multiple things, you need to work on it. And you will be having your web applications or web services, and other engineering applications will also be there. You should know how to deploy them. And you should also know troubleshooting the things. Okay, if something goes wrong, how to do the troubleshooting. And once you do the troubleshooting, you should know what is the root cause of the problem. And if you found the root cause of the problem, you should know how to fix it and how to make sure your pipeline is running smooth. So that also comes under the DevOps engineer also. So you should know how to troubleshoot it. And one more final thing is that automation and tooling. And the main expectation is that so nothing is going to be done manually. You need to make sure that everything is working in an automated fashion. Okay, so you don't want it to do the things manually, because if you do the things manually, so that's where the delivery process gets delayed. We don't want it to do the we don't want it to do the delivery slower. So to do the rapid software delivery process, you want it to do the things automated fashion. So for automated fashion, if you wanted to do, you may have to integrate multiple tools. If you wanted to integrate multiple tools, you need to know the tools and how to work with those tools. Okay, so automating and tooling is very much important for the DevOps engineer, that they have to integrate multiple tools so that they are working as a single pipeline. So working from one entity to the other entity, so that everything is working in an automated fashion to achieve something. So this is again one more important aspect of a DevOps engineer. Okay, so we should know the collaboration and communication, infrastructure management, continuous deployment, continuous integration and deployment, configuration management, monitoring and performance optimization, deployments, troubleshooting, incident response, and automation and tooling. Okay, so these are all the things we should know and we should work on it. So this is what is a DevOps. So if I wanted to give you the DevOps introduction, so this is what is the DevOps. A DevOps is a set of practices that brings together the software development and IT operations to improve the overall process of creating, deploying, and maintaining the software applications. Okay, so this is what is the benefit that you're going to get from the DevOps. Role of it. So you wanted to see what is the DevOps engineer doing every day. So all of these things they are going to work on every day. And even more also there. These are the few typical things. I did not go into the deep. Okay, which tool they are going to use it for the CI/CD, which infrastructure management tool they are using it. So which configuration tool they are using. We did not go into the deep. It is just an overall idea of what is DevOps engineer is doing. Okay, so this is what is DevOps, sir. If anyone have any questions on the DevOps topic, you can raise your hand, guys. If you have any questions on the DevOps, you can raise your hand. Yes, Vidit Gupta.
Suppose what do you mean by the manual process regarding deployment?
So manually deploying the things. You're doing the things manually. Doing the deployment manually.
Manually means we are manually deploying into a web server.
Correct. Manually doing. So when I say manually, you have an application, you have a code, you are manually deploying the code. Okay, so that is what I call as a manual. Yeah. Yes, GS Raman.
Nowadays, all companies are doing through.
So continuous integration and continuous deployment and continuous delivery is something that we will see in our upcoming sessions that we will be covering in a very detail. Even if I have to tell you that, see, if I have to tell you what is continuous integration and continuous deployment, so assume that I have a team and they are working on a multiple things. So I have a developer, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. Okay, so we have a project a repository where I'm storing my all the codes. So these developers are working on this repository, and as per the requirement, they create the code and they are pushing the code to the repository. Okay, so they are going to push the code to the repository. And so from the repository, you wanted to take the recent version of the code. Okay, because in the repository you may be having older version of the code also, because that's how the repositories work. So you wanted to take the latest version of the code and you wanted to build an image, maybe for example building an image. So that image you wanted to deploy it. Okay, so this is what I call the continuous integration, and this is from here until this deployment I'm calling it. If this entire process is doing continuously, then this is continuous integration, this is continuous deployment. Okay, what is continuous integration? Continuously integrating the code with the build server. Integrating the code. Continuously integrating the latest
Saidhul,
code
your
with the
voice
build.
is breaking in between. Your voice is breaking in between. That's not clear.
Is my voice breaking, guys?
No, clear, sir.
Okay. Okay, I see that some people say it is good. Okay, so in a continuous integration, you need to take the latest code from the repository. Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, so in a continuous integration, what we try to do is that, so multiple developers are working on a code and they are going to push in the code to the repository. We need to take the latest version of the code from the repository and we need to send it to the build server so that the build server will be building the code, building an image if you wanted to think. And that image has to be deployed on top of the deployment server. So that is what we call as a continuous deployment. So if this process is continuous, then we call it as a continuous integration. If until here it is happening, until deployment, then we call it as a continuous deployment. Continuous integration and continuous deployment, making sure that everything is working continuously, so as soon as the code is deployed. So this is what we call as a continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay. So continuous delivery is that, so you, while you're, if you wanted to do the deployment, someone wanted to review your code, because directly if I try to provide you the access to deploy the thing, so someone has to review it and someone has to approve your process, what you wanted to do. So that if they are having an approval also, you are going to do that. Instead of calling deployment, you call it as a continuous delivery. why you call it the continuous delivery is something that someone has to approve it. So if the build is done, it is ready for the deployment, and someone is going to be approving it, then only it is going for the deployment. So that is what we call as the continuous delivery. Okay. So this is what it is. If you're going to see it in a very detail, guys, this is very beginning. In our upcoming sessions, we are going to have a separate topic on the CI/CD itself. Okay, what is continuous integration? What is continuous deployment? Continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery also. All of these things are going to be coming in our coming sessions. So which tool we are going to use it for the source code management, which so how to build the code and how to store the artifacts, how to work with the container registries, how to do the deployments. All of those things comes into in our upcoming sessions. Okay, let's not worry about what we are going to work out. Okay, so this is as an idea if I wanted to give. So this is what is I call it as the DevOps engineer. He will be working on the this particular aspect. He will be working on this repository. If you wanted to do the if developer wanted to work on the version control system, you need to know how to create this entire version control system. And you should know the multiple tools are there, like Git, GitHub, multiple tools are there. You should know how to work with them, and you should know how to work with the build server, how to work with the deployment server. You should know how to create a CI, continuous integration pipeline. You should know how to create a continuous deployment pipeline. And this build server, if you wanted to create or create this build server, you need to know how to create this infrastructure automatically. This is also one more infrastructure. So multiple things come into the picture. Maybe when you look at the project, you may be thinking that the code is the main important thing. But yes, code is the main important thing. The development code is main important thing. But behind the scene, all of these things are going to be working. Without this one in the software development process, without this area, even though you have a code, it is going to be taking a lot of time for the deployment. So this is area is very much important, where repo, building, deploying, CI, CD, infrastructure came into the picture. So that is where the DevOps engineer is going to work on. Okay, so that's the reason DevOps engineers is very, very important nowadays, because of this particular reason only. If you wanted to create a application faster with a rapid delivery, in that case, you need the DevOps engineer. And DevOps engineer can work on multiple projects as well, because once the pipeline is created, he need not to work on this area. He can go to the one more project. Developers can directly work on these projects for the deployment and all of those things. So DevOps engineer is the process where they create the infrastructure and they go. Okay, so automatically these developers and all of these things push it to the repo. Once they push the repo, automatically it will be building the code, it will be automatically deploying the code. So everything is going to be automatical, because CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment. So that is the reason we don't want it to DevOps engineer need to have a proper knowledge on building all of these systems. Okay, so that is how it is. Okay, so now we have seen how the developers works, how the DevOps engineer works. So if you wanted to create this infrastructure, you need to have a DevOps engineer. Okay, you need to have a DevOps engineer to manage this entire infrastructure power. And manpower is someone who is that developer, tester, engineer. So you need to have an infrastructure power, you need to have a manpower to fulfill your project requirements. Okay, so this is what is a DevOps, sir. Similarly, as per our agenda, we will also see what is Google Cloud Platform. Now we have just seen what is DevOps engineer. Now let us also focus on this area. What is Google Cloud Platform? Okay. So this is also very important, because we are going to create this entire CI/CD infrastructure, all of these things on one of the platform. Nowadays, the cloud is very important. Cloud is becoming very, very important for all the projects. So let us try to see how to work with the Google Cloud Platform. Actually, what is Google Cloud Platform? Okay, so let me gonna tell you guys. Let me close this one and I'll open the one more slide. I think we have it here. Yes. Introduction to the Google Cloud Platform. Google Platform. Before that, I just wanted to give you a context of why we are coming to the Google Cloud Platform. Why to the cloud? Okay, so I'm going to give you some idea. So now nowadays you might have aware of it that we have a multiple cloud platform. The cloud platforms are there like AWS, Azure, and one of the leading cloud providers nowadays it is GCP. Okay, AWS, Azure, and GCP. AWS is nothing but a Amazon Web Services, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. These are the three leading cloud providers. Okay, three leading cloud providers. So they provide what, sir? Can you guys guess it? What they provide?
They provide cloud services.
They provide the cloud computing services, right?
Yes.
So these are the three leading cloud providers. What they do is that they're gonna provide you the cloud computing services, and these services are very useful for the companies. Okay, very useful for the companies for creating the code, creating the code, building the code, deploying the code, versioning the code, as well as many other things, maintaining the code, monitoring the code, applications, monitoring the applications or scaling the applications. So AWS, Azure, and GCP, these are the three leading cloud providers. If you go to a supermarket, you will be finding a different varieties of chocolates, right? You will be finding a dairy milk, you will be finding a Kit Kat, you will be finding a Milky Bar. So something like that. If you go outside in the cloud platforms, there are three leading cloud platforms are there, such as AWS, Azure, and GCP. What they try to do is that, sir, they are going to provide you the cloud computing services. In tomorrow's session, I am going to talk about this one, why these cloud computing services are very important, why we need the cloud platforms. I am going to talk about tomorrow, but today's is a basic session only. We are going to just cover the basic, very basic things. Tomorrow, we are going to start our actual topic. So from the why we need the cloud platform onwards, I am going to tell you why this cloud came into the picture, why we were facing the problems with the traditional systems tomorrow. But again, come back to this particular area. Now, AWS, Azure, and GCP, they provide you the cloud computing services. These services are very useful for the companies because why the companies are working. So, what are the companies or why the companies are working for? The companies will be having the clients. Client will have the requirements, right? So there are one side we will be having the clients. Clients will be having multiple requirements. As per the requirement, if you wanted to create a code, if you wanted to build the application, if you wanted to deploy your code, or if you wanted to scale your application, monitor your application, manage your application, if you wanted to do any of the activity, that can be done with the help of these services. So that is the reason cloud computing services are very useful for you to fulfill your project requirements. Whether one project you wanted to version the code, in one project you wanted to build the code. For building, you have a one service in the GCP. For deploying one application on top of some infrastructure, you have a one service in the GCP. For scaling that, for versioning it, monitoring it, logging it, whatever you wanted to. So there are multiple services in the cloud computing service, multiple services in the cloud, and they are going to provide these cloud computing services for the organizations to build their code, deploy their code, and scale their code in the Google's infrastructure. So that is what is one of the Google Cloud platform is to provide you the cloud computing services. One of the cloud platform is GCP. They are providing you the cloud computing services, which will help the organizations to build the code, deploy the code, scale the code, and version the code in their on top of the infrastructure provided by the GCP. Okay, so in a very simple word, if I have to say, Google Cloud Platform is a suite of cloud computing services provided by Google. So who is providing these cloud computing services, sir? GCP is providing you these cloud computing services and solutions to help the organizations to build, deploy, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. Okay, so organizations have plenty of requirement. If they wanted to build it, they have a one service in the GCP, they can use it. If they wanted to deploy it, they have a service in the GCP, they can deploy on top of that particular service. If they wanted to scale it, they can able to scale it to the multiple thousands, and they can able to store any amount of data. So that is how Google Cloud Platform is a suite of cloud computing services Similar to your Azure and AWS, they also provides the products and solutions to help the organizations to build, deploy, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. Okay, so these services are highly reliable. Whatever the services that the GCP is providing, these are highly reliable, secure, and it is providing you the scalable infrastructure that enables businesses to leverage the power of Google's extensive global network and data centers. In India, also we have two data centers in Mumbai for the GCP, Mumbai and Delhi. We have two data centers in one in Mumbai, one in Delhi. So that is how Google Cloud Platform is providing you the set of services, sir. If you ask me, sir, can you show me what are those services it is providing? 1 minute, guys. Yeah, here it is, sir. So can you show me, sir, what are the services it is providing? So these set of services is providing, sir. Okay, sir, Google Cloud Platform is providing you the set of services for you to build your application, scale your application, and deploy your applications. Sir, can you name it few services? So you have it here, plenty of the services. Computer services like Compute Engine, nothing but a virtual machines. App Engine, serverless platform to deploy the applications. Container Engine like Kubernetes Engine. Container Registry to store your artifacts. Cloud Functions, event-driven solutions. So all of these things, compute solutions, and IAM services, management tools, networking services, big data services, storage and database services, and machine learning services. Okay, so this is how it is going to be providing you a pool of services so that you can use these services for your project requirement fulfilling purpose. So that is what is GCP, sir. GCP is a leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services. Those services are very useful for the organizations to build, deploy, and scale their applications and services in the cloud. So that is one of the cloud platform is a Google Cloud platforms are similar to your Azure and AWS. Okay, so this is how we have GCP, sir. Okay, so this is what is GCP, and can you show me, if you ask me what are those services, so I have here listed out a few category of services. If you want me to show you the GCP services, you can go to the Google. So this is how the home page for the Google looks like, sir. So if you wanted to see all the services, you can click on this solutions. You'll be able to see a list of services. So it provides you the management services, compute services. You can see here the compute services are like Compute Engine, Kubernetes Engine, App Engine, Anthos, and storage services, cloud storage, file store, storage transfer, analytics services, networking services. By using all of these services, what the companies can do, sir? Can you guys guess it? What the companies can do with this, with the help of these services? Yes, perfect. So these services are very useful for the companies for creating the infrastructure, for building the for building the code, and for deploying the code, and also for maintaining the code. So this is what is the main intention of Google Cloud resources, sir. Okay, in our upcoming sessions, we will be going to see how to work with this all of these most of the services. I'm going to list out all of the services that we are going to see it. So let me gonna tell you guys. Okay, so give me 1 minute. So this is what is Google Cloud Platform, sir. So let me gonna show you. Let me close this one. What are the services that we are going to cover? Let me gonna highlight it, sir. Okay, so far we have seen what is DevOps and what is Google Cloud Platform. If anyone have any questions, meanwhile, and what is DevOps and what is Google Cloud Platform, let me try to take it. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Please raise your hand if you have any questions. The Q and A. So let's have a small Q and A where if you have only questions related to the DevOps, what is DevOps? If you are very new to the DevOps field, or you are very new to the GCP, if you have any questions related to only these two things, if you have any questions, you can ask me, sir. Let's take it one by one. Okay. So yes, sir. GS Raman, you have any questions? So usually it's it's not my perspective, or it's not we, and we are not deciding it. So let me going to tell you how the things actually works in the companies is that, see, for example, if I wanted to fulfill my requirement, what I wanted to do is that I would like to select a solution which gives me costly. So like this, for example, I wanted to build a one solution, and I'll go to them. I have a multiple cloud platforms such as AWS and GCP and Azure. When you have these three things, now tell me, I want to create one virtual machine which is very important for me for my fulfilling my requirement. So I'll go to the AWS and it is costing like $100. And if I go for Azure, it is costing like $90. And in the GCP, I look at it is providing only $80. And so the security and the amount of services that they are providing all are same. And if you wanted to find your client is having a very keen about the budget. Now you tell me which cloud platform you will go for.
GCP.
GCP. It's because the GCP is actually new, and they are having some kind of a discounts they are going to provide it to you in terms of the infrastructure. So they are providing you the all the services compared to the AWS and Azure. That is one thing, and they are going to provide you the services reliable and secure, and these services are flexible also. In addition to that, they are providing you the cost-effective services. Cost-effective services. So this is how, when the cost effective services are providing, now the companies are looking towards the GCP. So if I wanted to create it, the company is going for the GCP now. The thing is that the company is going for the GCP. When the company is going for the GCP, okay, likewise, plenty of the companies are going for the GCP. Now, the opportunities for the GCP is very high compared to other cloud platforms. Yes or no? Okay, when you are companies wanted to work with GCP, AWS and Azure, and for the GCP, opportunities are very high. That means who have a skilled experience on the GCPs are in very demand. Skilled professionals who are having a very good skills on the GCP, they are in a very good demand. So that is the reason we are learning this course. So we have a plenty of opportunities because the companies are looking towards the GCP. It's not you and me not deciding it. It's the companies are deciding that they wanted to go for the cost-effective solution. When they are going for the cost-effective solution, the opportunity for the GCP is very high because GCP is new to the market. Okay, the opportunities for the GCP is very high, but you don't find the skilled persons in the GCP. You are not able to find the skilled persons. So the main aim of this particular course is that to make you skilled professional so that you can go and get a very good demand and very good hike for your to crack the interviews and go for that. So this is how the main intention of this particular course is. Yes.
So, Shaik, here you are going to cover GCP concepts as well.
Okay, so guys, let us go one by one. Let's go one by one. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay. So I see that some people were asking. So I'll go one by one. Whoever wanted to ask me a question, please raise your hand. Okay, I'll gonna go one by one, and if you have if you are hand raised, I'll come to you and I'll ask you. Okay, so that's what we will try to do. Okay. Yes. Yes, Raman. Yeah. Continue your question. Yes, you are asking something. Sorry, when they are providing. Sorry. No, yes, that is free trial account. Okay, so if you wanted to utilize, sir, I wanted to learn the GCP, sir, is the GCP is providing you free credits for learning the GCP? Yes, they are providing you the $300 for 90 days. So I'm going to tell you how to create an account. Okay. Yes, Hari Prasad, you have any question?
Yes. In the course, we are going to cover GCP concepts as well.
That's the main intention of this course, right? So when I say DevOps with the Google Cloud Platform, we are going to cover the GCP plus DevOps. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the I'm going to tell you the tools that we are going to cover the DevOps tools as well as GCP. Let me gonna tell you guys first. Okay, let me gonna tell you the tools that we are going to cover. Okay, 1 minute. I think this is not the PPT. I think not this. 1 minute. So I think I might have closed that PPT. Yes, yes. So these are the tools that we are going to cover it for the GCP plus DevOps, guys. Okay. So for this GCP DevOps course, we are going to cover all of these tools. You can look at here. We are going to cover the virtual machines, Kubernetes, app engines, cloud run, cloud functions, and cloud storage. Okay. So these are the set of services. First set of services that we are going to cover. And next thing, we are going to cover the Docker, Cloud Build, Container Registry, Cloud Source Repositories, IAM, and PubSub is for streaming. Only one use case I have told you. And okay, something. Yeah, BigQuery for only for the basics of the BigQuery. And CI/CD for sure, Linux for sure, deployment strategies for sure, GitHub, Git and GitHub, Docker and Docker Hub also. Yeah, here came Docker and Docker Hub, and Jenkins also we are covering. Cloud SQL, load balancing, monitoring, logging, Terraform, and Ansible. So these are the set of tools related to the GCP as well as DevOps. All the tools, if you wanted to become a GCP DevOps engineer, all the tech stack I have mentioned here, we are going to cover all of these things. But let me going to tell you also clearly here. So,
Uh,
so this
so sorry,
and this one.
sorry to interrupt you.
And wait a minute, guys. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll give you the time. Okay. Okay, so for the BigQuery and PubSub, we are going to cover only the basics because these are not. Is my voice is breaking, sir? I'm not sure if my voice is breaking. I'm not sure. Maybe my internet is good. Is it breaking
No,
still?
yes, yes, your voice is breaking still
Yes,
in
your voice is breaking.
multiple times.
Okay, 1 minute, guys. Let me refresh. Okay, let me refresh one more time, guys. I'm really sorry for that. Let me refresh my internet one more time. It may disconnect it. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry for that. Hope you all can hear me now clearly. Okay, so we are going to cover first with the virtual machines, nothing but you also call it as here GCE, Google Compute Engine, Google Kubernetes Engine, GKE, Google App Engine, GAE, Google Cloud Run, Google Cloud Functions, Google Cloud Storage. And Docker Hub is covered. Cloud Build for CI/CD, Container Registry for storing the artifacts. Cloud Source Repositories is nothing but your repository like Git and GitHub, and IAM for the access control. And we will be, so you can consider that. Let me remove these things, guys. So this is actually we are not covering nowadays. I'll remove this one, and I'll remove this one, and I'll remove this one, I would say. Okay, we can mention here it is like this, because those concepts are not required for you. Okay, so I'll mention here. Okay, I'll mention this one here. I'll mention this one here. Okay, so this is how it is. Yeah. Okay, look at here. So we are covering this one. Sorry. Yeah, Docker, Cloud Build, Container Registry, Cloud Source Repositories, IAM, and Jenkins. And Ansible also covered, and CI/CD pipelines, how to create an end-to-end pipelines, that we are going to cover it. And Linux also we are covering, Linux and Linux basics, so that is very much important for us. And deployment strategies, blue-green strategies, so multiple strategies are there. So that also we are covering. And GitHub and GitHub, how to create work with the Git commands and all of those things, Linux commands and all of those things. Terraform, with help of Terraform, how to create the infrastructure, that we are going to cover. And cloud logging and monitoring is there in Google Cloud Platform, how to set the logging, how to create the monitoring dashboards, that we are also covering. And load balancing, which is very important in almost all the things. So how to create a load balancers and how to allow the firewalls also, that we are also covering here. Okay, so all of these concepts are going to covered with the detailed things. And one more thing is that we are also covering the projects as well to deploy the end-to-end CI/CD also. So if you guys wanted to see the course content, let me gonna open the detailed course content for you guys. Okay, this is just a overall course content. Let me gonna open you the detailed course content so that you guys can see it. Yes.
Shahidul, one more question. So,
Yes, please.
like in Azure, we do have pipelines to build, right? So in GCP also, you are going to cover
Yes,
that
we have it.
concept.
Yes, that is still there. So that's what in. So what do you mean by which pipeline? You mean to say CI/CD pipeline, right?
No, no, complete end-to-end pipe. Yes, yes, CI/CD pipeline. Complete
Yeah, yes,
how
CI/CD. That's
to.
what we are going to cover.
Okay.
So you can see here. So automated web application deployment, set up CI/CD pipeline to automatically build, test, and deploy web application, that is using these multiple services. Okay, that is one project. And similarly, we have a cafe web application development, again using these multiple tools. So this is also end-to-end CI/CD. And there is a one more Swiggy application is also there. So these are the three projects end-to-end CI/CD we are going to cover. Okay, so that is with all the services we are going to integrate it with. So this is something that basic pipeline. Okay, so this is basic pipeline. So that where for each and every service, how to use that particular compute option. So in Google Cloud Platform, we have a compute options like Google Compute Engine, Kubernetes Engine, App Engine, as well as Cloud Run and Cloud Functions. This we call it as a compute options. On top of these compute options, if how do we go for the deployment, I'm going to cover it. And after, at the end of our sessions, these two projects will be covered. Okay, these projects will be covered during, this is like a basic project you can think of. For each and every service I'm covering, in that particular service, I will tell you how to create a CI/CD, basic CI/CD. But once our entire topics are covered, and we are going to use here GCE, GKE, Kubernetes also, Jenkins for deployment, GitHub, version controlling, Terraform, Ansible, Docker, multiple tools, multiple DevOps tools we are going to integrating, so that we are going to create an end-to-end pipeline. This is going to be very beautiful. This one and this one, if you actually look at the end of our course, you are going to have a very good knowledge on integrating the things to create a CI/CD pipeline. So that is very beautiful things that you are going to see at the end of the session, not now, guys. Maybe in the last 5 days of the course, you are going to see these two pipelines created. Okay, this takes 2 to 3 hours. This also takes 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so that is how it is. Now, coming to the course content, how do we are going to start it? Someone is asking, sir, can you tell me how we are going to start it? So we are going to start with a module with the DevOps and introduction. Today we have started what is DevOps and what is Google Cloud Platform. Okay, so in between, I'm going to tell you, maybe from tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with not tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with this one. Why we need the cloud platform? What is the benefits of the cloud platform? Why we need the cloud platform? The difference between the traditional and cloud working model. We are going to start with this one, introduction to the cloud computing. So we will see what is cloud computing and why we need the cloud platforms. What is the difference between the traditional systems and cloud computing model? Once that is covered here, and I will go to straight away go to the Google Cloud Platform, because if I wanted to implement the DevOps practices, I need to have a platform. That platform, I'm taking it as a Google Cloud Platform. When I say Azure DevOps engineer, that means that DevOps engineer working on the Azure Cloud Platform. When I say AWS DevOps engineer, that DevOps engineer is working on the AWS DevOps tools. Similarly, if you are a GCP DevOps engineer, you are going to be a DevOps engineer using the DevOps tools in the GCP Cloud Platform. So if you wanted to use the GCP Cloud Platform DevOps tools full-fledgedly, at least you should be having the basic idea of how to work with the multiple services. Basic idea. So that is where we are going to start with the GCP interfaces. So what is console, what is Cloud Shell, and what is SDK, and how to integrate with these services one by one, that we are going to start. So that is our module 2. And before that, I will tell you how to create a free tier account, how to work with the different services. All of those things will be covered. And after that, GCP locations. If you wanted to deploy one particular application, and how to select a proper location, such as region, zone, and the importance of the region and zone. So that is what we are going to cover here. What is region? What is zone? What is the importance of the region and zone while selecting the location? And after that, in Google Cloud Platform, we are going to talk about one more basic concept, that is IAM and admin. If you wanted to work with the Google Cloud Platform, or you are working as a DevOps engineer in the Google Cloud Platform, how do you control the access? Okay, if you wanted to control the access, and if you wanted to worry about the security of your project and services or resources, we are going to look at what is identities, what is roles, how to assign a role with identity, and resource hierarchy. These basic concepts we are going to cover here in the IAM. Then the basic concepts of GCP networking is also covered. What is VPC, what is firewall, and what is the load balancer. These are the basic concepts only. Because we are not the networking engineer, the basic concept is very much important. Now, after that, we will be starting with the Linux basics, and we are going to see the what is Linux and what are the Linux commands, how to work with the Linux commands. And after that, we are going to start with Git and GitHub. What is the GitHub? What is version control system? How to create a GitHub account, and how to work with the Git commands. All of those things we are going to see here. And after that, we are going to see the cloud storage bucket. In Google Cloud Platform, if you wanted to store anything, we are going to the Google Cloud Storage bucket. And here we are going to see what is Google Cloud Storage bucket and how to create a bucket. And while creating the bucket, what are the properties that we have to set? All of those details, we are going to set it up here. And after that, we are going to learn about the Docker and Docker Hub. What is Docker and what is Docker Hub, and how it is used for the containerization, what are the Docker commands that we are going to see, and how to create a Docker Hub account, and how to store the images in the Docker Hub. All of those details we are going to see it here. Again, so that's where we are entering into the GCP DevOps tools. So far it was basics only, right? So basics related to the Docker, Docker Hub, cloud storage, Git and GitHub, Linux, and the GCP basic concepts. Now we are entering into the GCP DevOps tools. GCP DevOps tools. So in Google Cloud Platform, we have actually 5 deployment tools are there, or 5 compute options are there. Compute options, I would say. 5 compute options are there. Let me go and tell you. We have 5 compute options are there, guys. 5 compute options. On top of these compute options only, you are going to do the deployments. Okay. So one is GCE, Google Compute Engine. GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. GAE, Google App Engine. Cloud Function, Cloud Run, Cloud Functions. So these are the 5 compute options which are very useful for you to deploy your application. So you can also call it as a deployment. So if you wanted to do any deployment, you can do the deployment here. You can do the application deployment here or here and or here or here. So these are the 5 compute options. We are going to see one by one, very detailed. Starting with the what is compute engine, how to create a virtual machine in the compute engine, and how to create the different types of virtual machines, and how to work with the templates. All of those things that we are going to see. How to deploy application also we are going to see it here. Similarly, what is Kubernetes engine and how to work with the Kubernetes engine, how to create a cluster in the Kubernetes engine. On top of the cluster, what is a node and what is the pad and all of those things, and how to do the deployments in the Google Kubernetes engine, we are going to see. And after that, GAE. And GAE is one of the serverless platform for deploying your applications, non-containerized applications. If you wanted to do, we are going to use the GAE, and it is a serverless platform. Unlike your Kubernetes cluster as well as the compute engine, we don't need to create any infrastructure here. Directly, we can go for the deployment for non-containerized applications. For containerized applications, okay, the difference you can directly understand it from this diagram also. Okay, GAE and GKE, you need to create the infra. You need to create the infra with the proper. You need to create the infrastructure. I mean to say, you need to create the server, I would say. Okay, we need to create the server here. When I say server, you need to provide the configuration for this particular server so that the server will be created. On top of this server, you do the deployment. You do the application deployment. So in the GCE, you do the non-containerized applications. Here, containerized applications. Here, non-containerized applications. Here, you do the deployments of containerized applications. Similarly, GIE is with respect to the GCE, where you don't need to create the server, but you can do the non-containerized application deployment. Non-containerized application deployment you can do. So without creating any infrastructure or without creating any server. Similarly, Cloud Run, without creating any server, you can do the containerized applications deployment. Okay, so non-containerized applications, GCE and GIE, which is with the one server and which is with the without server here. Here, GKE for containerized applications, I don't want it to worry about the server. In that case, you can go for the Cloud Run. Without creating any server, you can create the you can deploy the containerized applications. So that's the reason this is called as a serverless. This is also called as a serverless. And you have one more solution, that is Cloud Function, which is an event-based solution. Okay, this is also we will see. So this is how each and every service, how we are going to create it. Sorry, where is that? Yeah, each and every service, how we are going to create the service, how to do the application deployment. For each and every service, here only we are going to see the CI/CD, basic CI/CD. When I'm learning the application deployment manually, I will also tell you how to do that CI/CD deployment here itself. Okay, if I wanted to do the CI/CD deployment, so that's where you are going to learn about the cloud build and CI/CD. Okay, in Google Cloud Platforms, cloud build is similar to your Jenkins in the outside. In Google Cloud Platform, we have a cloud build, which is very similar to your Jenkins to work with the CI/CD platform. If you wanted to create a CI/CD platforms, you can use the cloud build. And outside of the Google Cloud Platforms, or if you wanted to create the CI/CD, we need to use the Jenkins. So we are learning both. Okay, so how we are going to use the Jenkins for CI/CD? Similarly, we will also learn the CI/CD cloud build, and we will also learn the managing the repos with the cloud source repositories. Similar to your Git and GitHub, cloud source repository to Git and GitHub. Artifact registry, similar to your Docker and Docker Hub. Okay, so we are learning the DevOps tools in Google Cloud Platform. We're also learning the DevOps tools outside the Google Cloud Platform, because we don't want it to just become a DevOps engineer with the GCP. We are becoming a full-fledged DevOps engineer. We will be attaining all the skills required for the DevOps engineer. Okay, so we will be having a tools in the Google Cloud Platform for the CI/CD. We will be having a tools outside the Google Cloud Platform for CI/CD. We are learning both here. Okay, and again, cloud logging and monitoring. We already know for logging and monitoring, we wanted to do it for our healthy of our applications. For infrastructure management, we are going to use the Terraform, how to create the infrastructure, how to create the resources with the help of the Terraform. We are going to see it. Jenkins for the CI/CD applications, Ansible for the configuration management. Okay, and finally, 2 real-time projects and one. This is not one project. This is not basic CI/CD, guys. This is one CI/CD. This is one more CI/CD. So basic CI/CD in each and everything. So this is nothing but 154 CI/CDs, sir. Okay, a basic 4 CI/CD pipelines here we are going to create it, and finally we are going to see the end-to-end CI/CD to CI/CD for that. Okay, so this is how our project is going to end. Okay, so this is the flow of that one, sir. Okay, so all of these things. So this is what I told you. Some people may have a idea on that, sir. Can you tell me what is the prerequisite for this course? So we do not have any prerequisite for this course, guys. So this is not a coding job. Okay. So that is the reason we don't need to learn any coding language. There is no prerequisite for this course. A basic idea of technology is more than enough. Okay, if you have a basic idea on the technology and basic idea on the DevOps, if you can go and check it out, we are going to start with the very basics only. We will be going from the basics to the advanced level, and from this course also you can create your resumes. I will be showing you also here. So we have a material created, guys. So we have a separate material. I'm going to share it with you, DevOps with GCP. So here we have the overview. What are the tools that I have covered here? What is Google Cloud Platform? DevOps introduction, Linux, Git, everything is here, guys. You don't need to go anywhere. The entire notes are already ready for the previous batches which I have ran, and the difference between the bare metal to virtualization to containerization, compute engines, Docker and Docker Hub. So you can see here Docker and Docker Hub. We are going to see the Docker installation, the Docker commands, and how to work with all of these commands. And Docker Lab also is there, lab session, container registry, how to do the deployment with the container registry, Terraform, lab 1, lab 2, lab 3, lab 4, CI/CD. So this is what I was talking about. For each and every service, there is a CI/CD, right? So this is CI/CD 1 with the Docker image and pushing it to the container registry. This is CI/CD 1. And cloud functions. What is cloud function? And here we have a CI/CD for that again. So CI/CD 2. App engines. What is app engine? And again, we have a CI/CD 3. This is CI/CD 3. Cloud run. Again, we have a CI/CD 4. And cloud function, difference between the cloud functions, app engine and cloud run. Cloud storage, Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, cloud monitoring and logging. Interview questions are also here, and certification dumps if someone wanted to go for the certifications. And you have a end-to-end project 1, end-to-end project 2. If someone wanted to create their resumes, you have the resume templates also. So this is a full-fledged pack, guys, where everything is already covered and everything is already mentioned. If you wanted to go for a GCP DevOps engineer, this course gives you the knowledge. This course gives you the practical hands-on experience. This course gives you the resume templates. This course gives you the interview questions. This course gives you the certification dumps for that, so that if you are looking for a job, you can able to easily crack it. All the things required are full-fledgedly properly planned here, so that you can able to easily go for the jobs. So this is what is a job-ready program for the DevOps engineering with the Google Cloud Platform. Okay, now if you guys have any questions, so you can ask me. Please raise your hand, guys. Now this is our Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me, sir. So let me gonna tell you one more thing also. The course is going to be, it gonna actually takes 3 months, and it is a weekend batch we are planning, sir. This is a weekend batch, and every day we will be having, I mean when I say Saturday and Sunday, we will be having like a 2.5 and 2.5. Maybe at first stages we may be having 2 hours, 2 hours, but later point of time it becomes 2.5 hours and 2.5 hours. So every week we will be having 5 hours, I would say. So for next 12 weeks, 12 into 5, 60 hours. So 60 hours will close to 3 months. Okay, so this is how it is, guys. Okay, so this is how the course is of a 3 months duration. The timing is same, guys. So we will tell you the timings. For now, I would say the timings is same. Okay, the 2 to 4:30 every day. Okay, yep. Now tell me, guys, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand, guys, if you have any questions.
Sir, how this course will be helpful for the professional cloud DevOps engineer certification?
Certification, all the topics are covered here. If you wanted to go for a certification, all of those concepts are here. So if you might have checked for the sort of content of that particular certification, all of these concepts are covered here or not. So this will be very helpful. And also, as I told you, I have mentioned the certification dumps also, right? You can go for the certification dumps also, so that you can able to easily crack the certification. Okay.
So, sir, timing will be fixed from 2 to 4 or 4:30, or
So
the
the
timing may
certification
be.
is that Google Cloud Associate Engineer you can go for. Okay, the certifications. Okay, GAE you can call it as Google Associate. Okay, actually you call it as the ACE. Okay, ACE certification, Associate Cloud Engineer certification, and Professional DevOps Engineer certification (PDE). Professional DevOps. These are the two certifications. If you wanted to crack it, this course is going to be very full-fledgedly. We are going to cover all the topics.
Okay. Sir, class timing will be same from 2 to 4 or 4:30, or it may change in the future.
For now, at this point of time, the timings I can't promise you on that, guys. But as per my knowledge, I am available at this point of time, 2 to 4:30. If there is any changes in the timings, I will let you know. But as per my knowledge, we are going to have the same timing for this particular batch, 2 to 4:30.
Okay. But it will be on weekend only, not on the
Yes,
weekday.
yes, it is on weekend only, guys, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Shall
The
we
price
get
of this
all the
course,
recorded session and
Raman,
the
I have not called you, right? So, Raman, can you please wait? Yes, yes, Navneet, yeah. Sorry, Navneet.
shall we get the recording session of
Of
all
course.
the
So
classes
this
and
course will give you all the things, guys. I'm going to share you the material. Okay, I will be providing you the material and certification dumps and the recordings of this particular daily sessions and resume templates and interview questions. All these things are covered in the course itself. Okay,
and
for the course fee, you can always connect with the admin, your corresponding admin. You can connect with the course fee. Okay.
okay, and this recorded session will be accessible only for the limited period, or the lifetime
For
maybe
the recording
guarantee.
sessions, I'm not sure. For the recording sessions, I think it will be available. You can connect with the team because I am not managing that recording sessions, but you can always connect with. I think it will be valid for I think 1 or 2 years. I'm not sure. I think valid for
Mm.
lifetime also. I'm not totally sure, but for sure 1 year or 2 years. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Job assistance, no, sir. We are not providing anything. But if you guys wanted to help me with the resume assistance and how to create a resume, that is at the end of our session. I'll tell you. But other than that, we are not doing anything. Okay. Yeah. Correct. So recording sessions, certifications, material, and all of these things are covered. Yes. Yes. GS Raman, you are asking something. Yes, Raman, you are asking something earlier. Okay. So yes, Vidit Gupta. Vidit
Sir, one
Gupta.
question. What type of application we will deploy? Java application or Python applications?
So we will be mostly we have Node.js and we have Python. Okay. So most of the times it's Python only. Okay. And somewhere we will also have a Node.js application. Also we are deploying. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as long as we are need not to worry about the code because every time the code is same. The only thing is that we need to deploy it. So we do not have to worry about it. But in our sessions we will be seeing Python application as well as Node.js applications. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, one question. Will you use VS Code also to write some
Visual
files?
Studio Code for creating the code we can use. I think I'll be using yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have the code repository on top of that. We will be opening the VS Code only. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Salman, Sheikh Salman.
Assalamualaikum, sir. Sir, uh,
Yes.
we what we requested, sir, better to not change the time because we are in a different geographical location. So maybe I will attending the class from the office time. So during that time, I will excuse from my reporting manager to attend your class. So would like to request not to change the timing. Like today is okay. My weekends are on Friday and Saturday. From Sunday, it's a normal days.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? I think I see most of the hands raised. Yes, if you guys have any questions, you can raise your hand, guys. So this is it for today. I just wanted to tell you the definitions of DevOps as well as data engineering. Sorry, DevOps as well as the Google Cloud Platform. And we have also covered what is the course content that we are going to cover, and the course details also I have told you. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. Okay. And I'm gonna
Good
stop this.
afternoon, sir.
Yeah, yes, good afternoon. Yes,
Durga.
please.
How are you, sir? Good.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Sir, I have one question. I tried last time this question to ask, but unfortunately
Okay.
the chat was missed. So,
Okay.
sir, there are two courses. I joined your data engineering course, GCP with
Yes,
data engineering course, sir.
correct.
So, if we are going with data engineering with the Google and with the DevOps, right? So, and we are siblings. So, sir, is there any
So that's
discount for
different
us?
course. This is different.
Uh,
I'm not sure you can connect with the team. Yes, you can actually request for it. They will provide, I guess. Yeah.
okay, okay, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they will provide. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Okay. Let me not bore you today itself, because today's is our first session. So what I'll do, let me stop the session here for today, and tomorrow we will full-fledgedly start with a very, very interesting topic, that is managing the cloud platform. Okay, so we are going to start with this one, sir. We are going to see. I'm going to open that slide and show you, because you may get some idea. No, this one. Yes. I think no, this one also. 1 minute, guys. Yes. Okay, this is the one, sir. So let's start with this topic where we are going to see why we need a cloud platform. So we must understand how people are working in the traditional systems, and how they were facing the problems with the traditional systems, and how the cloud came to the picture, and how the requirements are going to working in the behind the scene, how all of these things are working, so that the cloud platform making a very good benefit to the companies. So let us try to understand the problems of the traditional systems, as well as the problems that are fixed by the cloud platform. We are going to see today, tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow. So this is something that we are going to see, and after that, will be the differences between the traditional system and the cloud platforms. Then we are going to start with the Google Cloud basics, and I will also tell you how to create a free tier account. Maybe next week, not this week, I guess. Yeah, next week I will try to tell you how to create a free tier account. Okay, yeah. So this is it for today, guys. If you guys have any
Uh,
questions, you can ask.
yeah, Shaik sir. So if I want to
Yes.
work as a GCP engineer, so that concept will be
Okay.
covered in these sessions or
All those concepts. Yes, of course, all of those. So if you wanted to go for a cloud developer, I'm a developer. I know already the programming language. If you wanted to go for all the course content is covered here. And one more thing, sir, wanted to go for a DevOps engineer. All the course content is covered here. Okay. And sir, I wanted to go for an admin also. All the course content is covered here. I wanted to go
oh,
for the certification, sir. All the course content is covered here. Okay.
okay. So I can go for both.
Developer, DevOps. Yes.
So I can go for both data engineer position as well and
Not the
DevOps
data
engineer
engineer.
as
I
well.
did not say not the data engineer. This is different. So data engineering is different and DevOps is different. So if you wanted to go for a developer, when I say a developer, Python developer, Java developer. In the cloud developer, you wanted to deploy the application. So that is what a cloud developer. And DevOps engineer is someone which we have just discussed, an admin who wanted to take care of the admin and access control issues. So that is what is admin. So these
So if
things you can.
okay, if I want to go as a GCP data engineer, so I have to take a separate course, right?
That is what is my course. Actually, you are not attending that. So
I
that's actually
I didn't
already.
attend that.
Okay, we are already having the data engineering classes that are separate. And if you wanted to connect with our admin, you can connect with on the GCP data engineering guys. Who wanted to go for the GCP data engineering? That batch is actually getting started from this 6th, next month 6th onward. Who wanted to go for the data engineering? That course is separate. And I am the teacher there also. I'm a solution architect, guys. I think I might not have introduced myself.
Yes.
Let me introduce myself. That first thing my name is Shaik Saidhul, sir. Okay. So I have completed my master's degree from NIT Trichy. You might have aware of it. NIT Trichy. I've completed my master's degree there. And currently I'm working as a solution architect for providing the solutions to the Databricks. I am a consultant at the Databricks now. Okay. So I also work for Databricks. I also work for the Quant. These are the two things I will be working for. I do have like more than, I would say, 8 years of experience. I have 8+ years of experience. Okay, so this is my thing. Okay, so I've completed my bachelor's degree, and after that I've completed my master's degree from NIT Trichy. And after that, I started my career as I would say data engineer. And after that, I've also worked on the DevOps as well. And currently, I'm working as a solution architect for both data engineering and DevOps. Okay, so this is how my overall background. And I currently working for the Databricks as well as Contact. So these are the two companies. For the Databricks, I'm a consultant, and for the Contact, I'm a full-time position. Okay, yeah, this is what is all about me, guys. And I also teach. If I have to talk about my training experience, I've been teaching it from the last 2.5 years. And I started with Azure. And we seen that I was teaching Azure data engineering, and after that I see a rapid growth in the GCP and plenty of opportunity. You don't believe me actually, but for the GCP and plenty of opportunities. You don't actually believe me, but there are plenty of opportunities. So I actually personally worked on the GCP for 3 years and Azure for almost 2 years. And currently I am working for the Databricks and Contact, right? So I'll be working on the multi-cloud projects. Okay, I'll be working on the multi-cloud project. So I have a working experience with AWS, Azure, and GCP. And so when I was teaching the Azure, I see a rapid growth in the GCP. So that's where I planned to start a course on the GCP. And from last 1.5 year, we have been teaching the GCP with a very good response from the students. So this is how it is. So we have taught more than 30 batches for the GCP itself, more than 30 batches for the GCP in the last 1.5 year. Okay, so this is my entire training experience as well as my professional experience. Okay.
Pradeep sir, I have one more question. So
Yes,
actually,
please.
I'm currently working as a Azure data engineer. I want to shift
Okay.
to this GCP. So even I want
Okay.
to learn this DevOps as well. So it's better to learn first GCP data engineer and then learn DevOps, or how it
No,
will be.
actually,
Please help me.
because what happens is that even you can see here. So first thing, even if I go for the GCP data engineering also, the very first topics I will be covering is that introduction only, interfaces, locations, and I'm an admin. That is same. These four concepts are same for every engineer, whether you are admin or a DevOps engineer or developer or data engineer. These four concepts are same. Then that's where comes up with the differences is that the data engineering topics. So these are the data engineering topics that we'll be covering here. And when you go for the DevOps, so these are the DevOps concepts that you are going to cover here. So the basics are same. For the GCP basics are same. Either you wanted to go for data engineering first or you wanted to go for the DevOps, both are same. You will be getting the good level of knowledge. If you wanted to cover both, you can join my batch, that batch also, which is starting from 6th year.
No,
Okay.
that will be is that will be possible to take a parallel course like data engineering course and
That
DevOps
is
course?
possible. That's not a problem. But I would suggest is that focus on one area and then go for the next area. I
Yes,
would say
yes.
that's my
That
suggestion.
one area would be like what is the first preference
Oh, you mean to
to
say
go
which
for?
one area? You are a data engineer,
Yes.
right? So I suggest you to go for the data engineering. Okay. So yeah,
Oh, okay. So after that,
you're a data engineer.
yes, I'm a data
After that, you
engineer.
can come back to my DevOps engineer again. Then you will be. So the end of the thing is that I would suggest you to not to go for the managerial positions. Instead, go for the architectural positions. I'm telling you, when you go for an architect kind of a roles, maybe after 10 years also, your salary will be even more than your managers. Okay, so your salary will be almost two times of your managers. My see, for example, where I'm working, my manager salaries is compared to me. His salary is multiplied by two is nothing but my salary. So that's how it would be. So even I got a position to work as a manager, project manager, but I didn't go that because I don't wanted to take a responsibility of that. But I wanted to create the systems and I wanted to provide the solutions to the clients. So that's where I come to the technical background. So if you are planning for a technical background, whoever you are, whether you are a data engineer, you learn the DevOps. If you are a DevOps engineer, you learn the data engineering. Then you can become a solution architect to provide the DevOps solutions as well as data engineering solutions. This is the era where data engineering in a very, very good peak demand, as well as DevOps engineering is also very, very in a good peak demand. So you can actually take your salary can be now your current salary is 10 or 15. You can even directly go to the 30 also. Okay, so that is how it is.
Sir, how we will practice after the class? Because I know like in the
Everything
class
is in
we
the Google
100%.
platform. So everything, so all the things. So I'm going to give you the notes. For example, I'm teaching the Linux. So I will be teaching everything, sir. I will say, so here, I will say ls is a list of commands. So I'm going to tell you in the class. So we will be going to the Google Cloud platform. I will activate the Cloud Shell. In the activate Cloud Shell, we will be having the Linux here. Linux commands we can able to exhibit. So I will also tell you how to create this free tier account so that you guys also, it's a free account. You need not to pay anything. You can use it for the next 90 days because Google Cloud platform is giving you that benefit. So you can use it. So I will say ls here. So tomorrow, I mean, after the class, you also go and you will say ls. So this is how you have to practice. Okay, so not for everything whatever I am implementing today in the class you have to implement it. So that's what I wanted to focus on it, guys. Sir, I wanted to strictly go for a DevOps role. I do not have a much time for those people if you wanted to go for that. So try to attend my session 2.5 hours. I mean that means a weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, right? So attend my session for 2 hours and 2 hours and go for and practice for at least 1 hour, 1 hour. The whole week you are having, right? So this whole week and this whole week, that means 5 days you are having after weekend. Put at least 2 hours of effort so that whatever I am teaching, you can implement it in your class, in your Google Cloud platform. So effort needs to be put, otherwise it's not easy to understand the concepts. So the DevOps is more of a learning by doing. So if you are learning today in the class, you have to do it in the practice. So if you're not doing it, that's where everything makes very good sense when I'm teaching. As I'm telling you, everything makes very good sense. But after you are trying to implement it on your own, you are going to face a plenty of the challenges. So that is the reason I would suggest you to attend to the live sessions, ask as many questions as you want, because at the end of 2 hours I will give you at least 10 to 15 minutes of time for the doubt clarification sessions. Once your doubts are cleared, you go for the next 5 days, at least sit for 2 hours and implement whatever I have implemented in the classes. So this is how you have to put at least 2 hours per week is very much important from you to become a DevOps engineer. Okay, so this is how you have to put the effort. Hope you guys are getting my point. Okay,
Yes.
so practicing is important. Yeah.
Saidhul sir, your GCP data engineer sessions will be like weekdays or weekends?
So that is actually weekdays, guys. So data engineering is weekdays. Or
Okay.
whoever wanted to attend the data engineering, you can connect with my admin team. Okay. So the
Okay.
respective
Okay.
admin team, the current batch is actually joining. The new batch we are planning from the 6th. Okay. So that's in the morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so
7:30.
30.
Monday to Friday. And there is a evening batch is also there, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay, got it.
So data engineering is nowadays in a very huge demand. So that's the reason we are having 2 batches.
Okay, cool.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
guys. Any
Sir, one last question, sir.
yes,
I
please.
hope this class will be interactive, will be
Of
able
course,
to ask
these
the
classes are
question during
interactive only.
session.
Of
Uh,
course.
I hope it won't be on a mute from the system side,
No, no,
so will
not
be
like
allowed.
that. Not like that. No, no, no. I am the host. What I'll do, if I'm teaching one concept, I will take a pause and I will ask you if you guys have any questions. Once cleared it out, and I'll go to the next topic. That's how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. For sure. Yes. Okay. Any other questions, anyone?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes.
Yeah. Any microservice project also you are covering in this course?
No,
Deployment
guys.
of microservice.
No, that microservice deployments actually we are not covering here in this one.
Okay.
I was planned to create one project, but that was in middle. Nowadays I'm not getting the so much idea. I was actually planning to create one. I had started. I had actually came to a half, and I couldn't able to focus on much. But I in the future, if
Okay.
it is created, it will be available to you for your as a free only. Okay. So if I'm creating something, I'll be creating it as a video, and I
Oh,
will be available to you guys. Okay. Yes.
okay. Actually, in the interview, would they ask in DevOps if we go for GCP DevOps engineer, microservices, end-to-end architectural deployments,
Not, no, they wouldn't ask you that have you worked on
like
it. They will ask you have
if
you
we
worked
go
on that area.
with experience or as a fresher, they will ask or not? Like ideal,
For the
if you can give.
freshers, for the DevOps engineer, I don't think for the freshers you will be getting directly the job. Okay. So if I
Okay.
have to talk honestly, for the freshers, DevOps is not the role.
Okay. Like how
DevOps
much
is not the
experience
role.
we can cover with this course?
With
Would
this cover, with this thing, you can actually put in your resume 3 years. Okay.
3 to 4
Last 3
will
years.
be okay. Okay.
Yeah, last 3 years I worked on GCP DevOps engineer. You can say, and you can go for the interview.
And GCP data engineer, if we keep like you are saying parallelly, you are starting one batch 6th May.
No, that's no. Don't merge those two things. Yes, because those who are asking for me, that sir, I do you also teach data engineering? I said I also teach data engineering. These are two different entities. Okay,
Okay.
these are two
No,
different.
will be any benefit with both the things parallelly if it complete like
I mean, eventually, at the end of the day, if you wanted to become a technical architect, that will be helping for you in for the
okay.
data engineering projects as a DevOps engineer. That will be helping for you. But at this stage, I strongly tell you to focus on your area. So if you are coming from your infrastructure background, go for the DevOps. If you are coming from a SQL background, go for the data engineering. That's how I suggest. And after you are in a data engineering, your dream role is data engineering. Sir, I am already working as a data engineer. I wanted to learn more. In that case, if you wanted to learn more, you come to the DevOps again. Or if you are already in the DevOps, you come to the data engineering again. So that's how people shuffle. Okay, so that they are getting the cross skill, and that's where the people gonna become a full stack. So that's how the full stack name come into the picture, right? So that's
Okay.
how it becomes.
Actually, I have Python and SQL in my background. I'm still learning
Yeah, you can go
both.
for
Maybe within 1 month I will be completing. So data engineer or DevOps, what will you suggest?
I suggest you to go for the data engineering. Okay, I
Data
suggest you
engineer.
to, because if you are
Because
coming from a
within
Python
1 month,
understanding,
yeah, 1 month I will be completing my Python and SQL both parallelly.
I'll be teaching there in the class.
Okay,
So you
okay,
should
you
have
will. Okay.
you should have already directly attend my class, because but that's a crash course. That's more than enough. I'll be teaching
Oh,
the crash course of Python, but a
okay. With
basic.
experience, with experience data engineer also we can try. You
Of
said.
course, of
Okay,
course.
okay. Thank you very much.
I see that most of the people are interested in the data engineering here. So, guys, if you are too much interested into or already having a background of SQL, I strongly suggest you to go to the data engineering, because it's not for me. Because end of the day, I wanted to be happy. Anyway, I'll be happy whether you join or not join. I'll be happy, but I want you guys also to be happy. That if you are taking some course, take a full 100% of that particular course and get a job from that course. Okay, that's how I would look at it. Okay, end of the day, I'll be teaching 3 trainings. I'll be also working as a full-time and also consultant. I'll get a good amount of money. That's not a problem for me if one is joining or not. But I suggest you to, I'll be providing you the good course content. I'll be teaching you a very good, so you don't need to worry about it. But if you are very interested in data engineering, there also I'm teaching only. There also I am the teacher, here also I am the teacher. So the thing is that try to take the proper decision. After 1 month or 2 months of attending these courses, or this is not perfect for me, in that case you have wasted 2 months of time. That's I would say. So if you are strictly, sir, I decided that I wanted to become a GCP DevOps engineer, I will give you 100% course content. I will give you the 100% knowledge for the 3 years experience, guy, and then you can go for the job easily. I'm telling you. Okay, so that's all. Decide yourself and attend the course. Okay, so that's all. And tomorrow we will start the course topic, guys. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me now. Otherwise, freshly we are going to start with a very basic concept from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Yep. Any other questions? Okay, I see. That's fine. Yeah, I see people does not have any questions. So I'm gonna stop here the session for today, guys. We will meet tomorrow at the same time. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye bye. We'll meet tomorrow, guys. Yeah. Yes. Thank you all.